Daniel Ricciardo is probably the hottest topic this summer, but not for a good reason. This Aussie has lost his spot to a younger compatriot named Oscar Piastri, and although he holds no grudge against the youngster or his manager, the guy that Ricciardo replaced in Red Bull in 2014, Mark Webber, the fact that Ricciardo doesn't have a seat for the 2023 season still stands. When the buyout team with McLaren became official, many connected him with teams like Alpine and Haas. But those teams are likely to be looking in another direction now. So, Ricciardo will likely have to consider being a reserve driver for some team in F1 if he wants to continue his tenure there. Luckily for him, there's an open spot in Mercedes, and the team has expressed interest in signing the 8-time race winner in their rows. Therefore, keep watching to find out more regarding Ricciardo's seat in Mercedes. Ricciardo's infamous tenure with McLaren is finally over, and now that the buyout terms have been agreed upon, we can talk as much as we want about his future. The reunion with Alpine, previously known as Renault, the team that Ricciardo finished P5 in 2020 and scored a couple of podiums for them, has been mentioned as one of the teams Ricciardo can go to. However, the Enstone-based team has lost its deal with Piastri and has increased their talks with Pierre Gasly, the 26-year-old Frenchman. Although Ocon and Gasly aren't friends anymore, it's likely that Gasly's spot in Alpine will be a done deal if the FIA decides to grant Herta his super license amid controversies despite the lack of points in it. That means that the AlphaTauri seat is closed too, so Haas and Williams remain, along with Alfa Romeo. Haas is giving Giovinazzi some free practice sessions in Monza and Austin, meaning that they would likely sign a guy with less financial demands, and a guy that is looking to prove himself yet again after not being so famous or good in Alfa Romeo. Giovinazzi was replaced by Joe, and although many criticized the F1 for being a sport all about the money, Joe performed quite well, and now Giovinazzi might have a chance to fight the guy that took his spot in Alfa Romeo on track. As for Williams, it's highly unlikely that Ricciardo will accept the backmarker role in F1, and although he said he will be open to a long-term project if that's what is offered to him, he'll obviously choose the win-now situation if he has a chance. I still definitely have the ability to love a project, but of course, if there's this longer project, and this one where you're going to win tomorrow, of course I'm going to go for the quick wins. There are things I will definitely give some thought to. I don't always want to be stubborn or short-sighted and be like, no, I'm not interested in that. I will give everything its respected thought. From 2017, every 2 years I've been with a different team. I don't want to just sign something and think, wait, now something else is there for 2024. So it's probably not as simple as just getting somewhere on the grid next year. It can probably go in many different directions, so I don't think it needs an immediate decision. It's going to be about what's best for me. Why are we hyping up this whole Ricciardo-Mercedes situation? Keep watching to find out. A source that is very close to F1 has reported about a potential signing between Ricciardo and Mercedes, saying, Mercedes are thinking about Ricciardo to cover off the possibility of Hamilton walking away at the end of next season. Bringing Daniel into their camp means they wouldn't be left high and dry. It would also mean George would be the main man from that point in 2024. What's more encouraging for us is the fact that Ricciardo isn't willing to give up on F1. That has been said previously in his initial interviews when the buyout terms have been agreed upon, and that has been confirmed yet again in Thursday's press conference prior to the Monza Grand Prix. I wouldn't give up on F1. If it means I'm not on the grid next year, I'll certainly try to find a way to be on there in 2024. It's honestly the only racing I'm really interested in at the moment. My mindset is still, I am an F1 driver. I'm proud of what I've done, but I still feel there's a bit more to show, to give. I wouldn't race another category next year, said Ricciardo. The truth is, I'm keeping every option open, not only for next year, but for the future. I still don't know what next year looks like. As Lewis said earlier, I do want to be on the grid. I do want to race. Although it's certainly been a challenging time in my career, it hasn't taken the love of the sport away from me, and that desire to still be here and still compete, finished Ricciardo. Well, the harsh truth is that Ricciardo isn't the Ricciardo we're used to seeing in Red Bull and partially in Renault. Although he has proven to be a great talent back then, it seems like the McLaren tenure has taken a big hit on his self-confidence. The way that the team treated him is also very questionable, and given the fact that McLaren has developed a regressing car in the 2022 season, which was pointed out by their technical director and by their main driver Lando Norris, it wasn't all Ricciardo's fault that he gathered only 19 points with 7 races remaining so far in the season. But still, Ricciardo isn't a guy that you can give up on easily, and he said that if there's a chance to conquer for a seat in the top performing team, in this case Mercedes, he doesn't mind sitting out out for the 2023 season. After all, that's what he said to Perez during the drivers' parade in the Dutch Grand Prix. It's highly likely that Ricciardo is looking to bank in on the $15 million buyout money that's been agreed upon by McLaren. And in 2024, if Hamilton wasn't to continue his deal with Mercedes, he will be probably the best solution to be placed at as we speak. During the same press conference on Saturday, Lewis Hamilton also spoke about Ricciardo and said that he is far too good to be Mercedes' reserve driver and that he still isn't done when it comes to racing. I think he's far too talented, and he's earned the right to be amongst us all racing. If he's part of our team, that'd be great, but a third role is not really what's best for him. If I was managing him, he'd be racing, said Hamilton, who also added that he has never felt better in his 37th year of life and that he plans to extend the deal with Mercedes in the upcoming period. George Russell also spoke about his feelings towards having Ricciardo as a reserve driver in Mercedes in 2023 and a potential teammate in 2024, adding, "I've not heard any reports or heard anything, but I think Daniel's track record speaks for itself, really. He's a driver deserving of a seat on the Formula One grid, and it would be a real shame for him not to be there next season. But obviously from our side, having a driver of his caliber joining the team in any capacity would be a real boost. He's a driver I get along with. I just hope he stays on the grid and in the sport," finished Russell. A thing that isn't adding to this narrative, or more precisely, is hinting that Ricciardo's wish and dream to drive for Mercedes might not be as realistic as he thinks, or as the media hopes, is that Lewis Hamilton said that he's working on an extension of his deal past 2023. "For me, I feel healthier than I've ever felt. I'm feeling fit. I love what I'm doing, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. My goal is to always be with Mercedes. I signed with them in 1997. I love that we have the long partnership we have. I feel like we're embarking on a lot of really positive things, not only in the sport, but outside. And I think there's a lot to accomplish together. I want to be a part of that," finished Hamilton. With that being said, Ricciardo's relations with Mercedes are currently a hot and cold topic that we have no idea how it will unwind. What are your thoughts on this whole situation? Do you think that the Aussie has a chance in Mercedes in 2024? Let us know in the comments below.